That's the same group. Hello. Yeah, that's me yelling. Hey, everybody. We're beginning a show. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. We have begun.
It has already begun.
Yeah, there's the act of beginning has already occurred. We are within the realm of begun.
We walked through the door.
We got
the foyer.
Oh, yeah, right. We got a lot of fecunda on a. Is that a curse word? Did I just inadvertently walk into some cultural landmine?
Just brush past that.
Hello, everybody. We are Fat Jack's Comic Crypt.
Welcome back.
Brendan, Al, Latchkey Manifesto, and whatever else we call ourselves at any given time.
We've only just begun.
Yeah, there you go.
What up?
Hey, Mr. Hunter, what's happening, buddy? Good to see you, man. Real quick, let's just do a little bit of business. For anyone who's never watched this before, as much as I would love to just sit here and talk about comics and movies and whatever the heck comes to Al and our imagination, we still are being paid by Mike to attempt to sell comic books. So one of the main functions of this is to sell some comic books. So if you're interested in purchasing anything, hit us up in the chat to claim a book. Please, when you claim a book, be as detailed as possible so there's not as much
title, issue number, that's all you gotta do.
Yeah.
Claim.
We don't want any confusion because sometimes people try to claim things at the same time, and we have to kind of give priority to the order in which, people's text, chat, whatever the term is, comes in.
Yeah.
If you do claim a book and you are not in the Philadelphia area or in the Oakland, New Jersey area where our two shops are, Al and I are here in our Center City shop here in Philadelphia. Mike is over there in our Jersey shop. For anyone who is in the area, obviously anything you claim tonight, you can pick up here at the shops. Or if you are outside of the area and we need to ship stuff from you, we need to get invoices to you, and we need some contact information and shipping information and so forth. We would need you to please contact us at our email. That email is fjccshow@gmail.com. Obviously stands for Fat Jack's Comic Crypt Show @gmail.com. Al primarily handles that. So if you have any nasty things to say about me, feel free, go right ahead. I probably won't see it until
that's what the email's for.
A little bit more than I would like to believe. Anyway, for anyone who, I guess we should promote a little our social media. If you want to check us out on our Instagram page, it's at the FJC Paradox. I really appreciate all of the support so far.
Nice and big.
Look at that. So far, I've maintained my goal. I've no less than one post a day. So we're still moving along that. At some point, hopefully down the line, once I figure out how to use it better, maybe we can do a little sales on the show. I actually have no idea how to really use the page. So for right now, if you want out of context comic book panels, cool little covers, strange ads in a comic book from 1964, come to the Fat Jack's Instagram page at the FJC Paradox. Cool. All right.
And please like and subscribe and share the experience with all your friends and family.
Nice. I can barely read, but I think Gary is eating Chinese food.
He is.
Nice. Gary, what are you eating, buddy? Man, I could really go for some lo mein right now.
Chinese food.
Yeah, but there is a wide breadth of Chinese food, all right?
I mean, actually, I don't know. Kyle, who is Little Enos? I don't know who that is. Is that the little guy that was with Jackie Gleason in Smokey and the Bandit?
Ooh.
He wrote We've Only Just Begun. There's a whole thing going on about the Carpenters.
Oh, the Carpenters?
Yeah.
There's a conversation going on about the Carpenters in chat right now?
General So's, shrimp, egg rolls, white rice.
Oh, nice. Sorry, but we're closed. Yeah. That's what happens when the tourists.
Man, that sounds really good.
Did I put the close sign up?
Oh, no, I thought the gate thing down.
Yeah, that's usually the telling part, but, sometimes. General So's, good stuff. So's, right? That's how we pronounce it? So's, okay. Didn't they make a documentary about it?
Yeah, about George Costanza's file.
George Costanza's file. I was very happy to learn, because I have all this Seinfeld DVDs, that Seinfeld is going to stop streaming in a short period of time.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so for all those people who mocked me for still buying physical media, just pay attention to what those streaming services do and how often a movie you thought you're going to have access to just suddenly disappears.
Because, I mean, I imagine you haven't seen those Seinfeld very many times. You got to hold on to them.
Well, you know, there's certain shows I want to have in my. Hey, you'll never see the Puerto Rican Day Parade episode, because that is considered culturally insensitive now.
They burn flags.
Yeah, and what were some of the other the 30 Rock episodes, the episodes that are considered the blackface episodes? You'll never see those again. I believe there was an episode of Community that yes, it's the Dungeons and Dragons episode.
Yeah, that was top. I was not happy.
Yeah, he wasn't happy about that, especially because his whole thing is that the whatever the dark elves are, he was like, that's not blackface. It's literally black. They're really black, like actual.
No, Ty wasn't upset. He was upset at being pulled.
Yeah.
He wasn't like flipping out.
No. He, as a black man, he felt that it was a stretch.
It was a bit much.
Yes. But again, everyone is entitled
to each their own.
To their opinions. And again, never forget, we are in a capitalist society with a free market, and people have every right to spend their money on what they want to spend. So if suddenly people stop spending their money on something, and then that thing suddenly gets pulled or ended, or what's the word? Canceled, it's not a freaking cultural war. Okay. Sorry.
Feisty.
Man, shit just gets on my nerves. Anyway, sorry. So let's talk about comic books.
So, yeah,
let's do some. So I think we've done the business.
Business.
Okay, cool.
Thank you to everybody for tuning in.
Thank you, everybody. We are
feisty. He is a feisty guy. Hey, Kyle, why don't you show up in the chat there, or do the little half screen?
Little half screen
while you're eating the pizza.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah,
There it is.
Our producer is eating. What are you eating? A pizza.
I had peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Oh.
For pizza.
He didn't go for the pizza. All right.
No, I had peanut butter and jelly because
I enjoyed some pizza.
In the words of a very wise man, it's peanut butter jelly time.
Peanut butter.
Everything like general. So everything the food is. I'm starving.
Yeah, I'm actually really good. It's just trying to get me hungry.
Maybe we should sell some books and stop talking about food before the rest of us eat our hands.
Okay. All right. So
I think that hand in the middle there is tasty. I'm asking for a friend.
All right. So we got the word, and the word is not bird. It's sell some damn comic books. So
yeah, we're back to Chinese food.
So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm going to ignore the chat here, and then Al will let me know what is relevant.
If I need to stop. Otherwise,
yeah,
I'm gonna take a little break.
Do I have pit stains?
I don't know. I smell pretty bad today. I didn't.
It is. It's very hot, as many of you already know.
It's hot. I was smelling like right when I walked out.
Yeah, I was a little. Oh damn! What the hell's going on?
Apologies.
I had deodorant. It's gone now. Every time that damn door opens up, it's just like God's wet, musty grundle. It's just. With that in mind, let us start with our first book.
It's the season of wet money.
It's this. Oh, dude. I fully understand hiding your cash in your sock, but don't actually believe that you're going to pull that money out of the sock and then hand it to somebody, because it's not appreciated.
You're going to get a look.
And then that person is going to do this.
Yep.
And then they're going to take some hand sanitizer. Well, this is a very culturally significant issue, and we've really given it all the proper respect as we've led up. In fact, I wish there's got to be a funnier book here.
There you go. Here, why don't you start off with this?
Oh, yeah, okay. Let's first start off selling Winona Earp #2. It's a $3.50 book. No, in fact, if you're interested in this book, we'll give it to you for $1. So
this is not the IDW adaptation of the show. This
No.
is the Image Comics
original
series of
Yeah.
Winona Earp. I don't know. This might be based on something.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I have no idea. Isn't the only reason that they're out here is because somebody inquired?
There you go. This is how the chat works.
Yeah.
This is how the email works. young lady from I don't even remember
from
now.
somewhere.
She needed specific issues, and this was not one of them. And so I just haven't priced it to put in the bins yet.
Yeah, but we have it here. So if you're looking for Wynonna Earp number 2,
filling out your image from the '90s collection, and you're missing Wynonna Earp number 2.
What year do you think this is from? Oh, she's got a baseball bat.
Probably early 2000s.
You think it's early, not like 90, 97, 98?
I feel like I would have some recollection of it.
Really? Oh, because you were buying Wynonna
I
Earp.
bought image in the '90s. I don't know. Anybody know Wynonna Earp? We could open it up and look at it, but we've wasted.
We've wasted plenty of time.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you're interested in Wynonna Earp number 2, we literally have it for sale for $1. All right. This is not on sale for $1, and this is a book that deserves your time, your attention. In few months ago, in previous episodes, I absolutely talked about this series, specifically this first issue. It was definitely one of the best debut issues of a miniseries I had read in a while. This was DC's Black Label, The Other History of the DC Universe, written by John Ridley, illustrated by Giuseppe Camuncoli. But this, and again, each issue of this 5-issue miniseries pertains to a specific character. I'm pretty sure most of you can guess what the theme of the characters are. The first issue pertains to Black Lightning. The second issue pertains to Bumblebee and, oh my God, what is that other Teen Titans character's name? The third issue is Katana. The fourth issue is Renee Montoya as the Question. And the fifth issue, I actually don't know who it's going to be. So if anybody in the chat, if you know what character is being focused on the other history of the DC Universe, number 5, I would like to know.
Is that this week? That's not this week.
Oh, I think it is. I think it might be, but they never tell you the character. But what makes this issue unique is this is the local comic shop day variant. It's sort of this like metallic, silvery ink kind of thing. So this is a variant of one of my favorite first issues of the past year or two. Book 1, Black Lightning. John Ridley, I give you a lot of credit. You really delved into a lot of the DC history, and you unearthed a lot of interesting, let's say you read between the lines and really elevated this narrative. And Black Lightning was always a fascinating character, but this issue just really rocked my world. I loved it. Anyway, but this is the local comic shop day variant. Very fine near mint, $10. I heard that a book has been claimed, so I'll just quickly mention this. This is New Mutants number 18. This is a very fine near mint copy at $18. This is the beginning of the Demon Bear storyline that Chris Claremont and Bill Sienkiewicz started up. This is Danny Moonstar starting to begin her origin. This is where you find out about the Demon Bear, killed her parents, all that crazy stuff. But again, if you've never checked out the Demon Bear storyline, at least pick it up and check out Bill Sienkiewicz's art. It is next level, gorgeous stuff. So I guess we're going to say goodbye to that one.
Thank you, Mr. Rayo.
Thank you, Mr. Rayo. And that actually leads me a nice little segue into this issue that we have here. During our DJ Loves JB collection show, predominantly dealing with all of those X-Men issues, Uncanny X-Men and stuff.
Shout out to DJ. Thank you for the collection.
Thank you, man. There were 2 issues that we never got to. We didn't have the opportunity because, again, there's so much going on. But I just wanted to bring these up real quick. So for anyone who's never seen, this is the special edition X-Men number 1. Now, there's 2 things in this book. The first one is the obvious one. It is a reprint of Giant Size X-Men number 1. So you get the introduction of all the new X-Men characters, all that kind of stuff. But more interesting is the backup feature. And the backup feature deals with Kitty Pryde's birthday, where she has the party at the X-Mansion. But there's a new school of children hanging out at this X-Mansion, and they are the New Mutants characters. So technically speaking, in terms of publication history, this issue, even though it's a reprint, the backup is a completely new story written by Claremont. I can't remember off the top of my head who illustrated it, but it is considered the second appearance of the New Mutants, and it details the first time that Kitty Pryde meets all of the original New Mutants characters. This is a very fine copy at $8.
Now, I don't know, to the best of your knowledge, has that been reprinted anywhere before?
No, not to my knowledge.
Cool.
But
I mean, maybe like in an Epic product. I don't know.
maybe, yeah, the Epics have been a little better at that. Maybe at one point, maybe one of the classic X-Men issues, maybe they did that because they always had new backups.
Yeah.
But to be very honest with you, I actually had never read it until that issue. So, you know.
X-Men #1. Where that at?
Is it, Jason, are you talking about the special edition, the one we were just talking about? So let me know. I think Mr. Melendez
is going to take
the other history. And Sam, we will check to see if there are any other issues.
I'll see what we got.
Yeah. Jason, just confirm that you were talking about that special edition, X-Men #1. For now, we'll just kind of keep it off to the side just in case. Then we're going to
question for everybody else.
then we're going to move to, okay, so for anyone who, okay, Jason, we got it then. All right. For anyone who was watching that show and we were doing all the X-Men stuff and we were talking about the Dark Phoenix saga and everything, we brought up the idea that Chris Claremont and John Byrne, they had a different plan for the end of that storyline. Until Jim Shooter got involved, their initial intention was for Jean Grey to be saved at the end of the story, for them to sort of, Professor X, with the help of the Shi'ar, to sort of remove the Phoenix entity from her, kind of acknowledging that really it was the Phoenix that possessed her and made her do all that crazy stuff, and that Jean can move forward and be a part of the X-Men mythos, because I think at the time Claremont intended Jean to leave with Scott and for them to go off and sort of live the life that him and Madeline Pryor led for a while. I'm not saying that they intended Jean Grey to become the Goblin Queen, but whatever the case may be, Jim Shooter obviously stepped in and said, hey, she killed billions of people. She has to be punished. Don't forget, this is Reagan's America, and if you do anything, then you deserve death penalty. So they killed her. Well, this here is the Phoenix, The Untold Story. This came out in 1983, so we're talking about 4 years after the end of the Dark Phoenix saga, when Claremont and Byrne were allowed to finally publish their original ending for Uncanny X-Men 137 is the issue where she dies. Jason, you know, you threw the book in my face and told me, I don't want this, get rid of it. And I went, Jason, why are you so mean? But Claremont and Byrne had their opportunity to do their original ending. So this story actually is the first like 2/3, 3/4 of Uncanny X-Men 137. I hope it's 137, but you know which one I'm talking about. The giant size one.
The one he just returned?
Yeah. I think it's 137, but I keep saying the number as if I know that for a fact. Anyway, and then at the very end of that issue, in this, you get to see the original art and the original ending of the story, where Jean Grey is saved, rescued, and everything gets resolved. Everyone's kumbaya, and they go home happy. So this Phoenix, The Untold Story. This is plus you get this beautiful new gatefold cover by John Byrne and Terry Austin of the Dark Phoenix fighting the X-Men. Are on the back cover. This is actually a kind of a hard book to find. I'm not sure how often this has been published since. I don't even think it was republished in the recent Epic collection, The Fate of the Phoenix. But this Phoenix The Untold Story, this is a very fine plus copy at $10. And then we have Uncanny X-Men 304, part of the Fatal Attractions event that was going on at the time, where you get your nice little hologram covers. This one is Magneto. This was during the era. Claremont has definitely gone from the book by this point, I think. Yeah, he had moved on. Yeah. I think this might be Scott Lobdell at this point. But this is around the time where it doesn't happen in this issue. I'm pretty sure that's Wolverine 75 when he gets his adamantium ripped out of him and all that kind of stuff. In fact, I actually forgot what made this book kind of key.
X-Men 25.
Oh, X-Men 25 is when that happens. Okay.
It's a hologram. It's the same. It's a hologram.
Yeah, they're all the holograms and stuff like that. But this is the Uncanny X-Men one, illustrated by John Romita Jr. It's a very fine near-mint copy at $10. And speaking of the X-Men, we also have the final issue of Iron Fist. This is when Claremont was writing the book. Not to be confused, this is not issue number 14, which is the first appearance of Sabretooth, the one that I imagine most people are searching for. But still, you have Iron Fist fighting the X-Men. You even have Wolverine in his little Fang outfit, which I don't fully understand why he was running around in that. But this is the final issue of Iron Fist from 1977. A lot of the characters and concepts that Claremont introduced during this run will pop up again in Claremont and Byrne's X-Men run. But this is a fine minus copy at $15. All right. Now we're going to step away from the Marvel stuff for a little bit, and we're going to talk about two pretty big titles independently by two writers that are they're weird old men. Let's just say that. But we're not going to get into it all. I mean, everyone has their own mind made up, but the work stands on its own, and the work is spectacular. And the first title I'm talking about is from Wildstorm, Warren Ellis and John Cassidy. This is Planetary. Planetary #1. It's a very fine Gimmick copy at $15. Now, this series, for anyone who's never read it, basic concept is they are sort of, it even says it on the cover, archaeologists of the impossible. The series is brilliant. Sam, if you're out there, you know what I'm talking about. We had a little conversation about this earlier in the week. So they pretty much explore all of the big pop culture genres and tropes of the time. You have stories that pertain to kaiju and big monsters, Monster Island, all that stuff. You have stuff pertaining to Hong Kong action crime stories. You have issues pertaining to old pulp characters like Doc Savage, Buck Rogers. You even get issues that deal with how certain characters would deal with, you know, origins of very famous characters. Like if an alien baby dropped on Earth, would you raise it or would you murder it? If you found out there was an island full of super strong Amazonian women, would you burn it to the ground? If an alien was trying to hand off some great cosmic weapon to some weirdo, would you make sure that that alien stays dead and that weapon never sees the light of day? Probably. You also get Evil Fantastic Four. You get weird kind of ribbings on Captain Marvel and the whole concept of saying a magic word in some other reality giving you powers. You even get a really cool deal with Lone Ranger. And there's even an issue that I really love where Warren Ellis takes the piss out of himself and the contemporary writers of his generation, a la the issue that sort of pokes fun at Vertigo, while at the same time throwing up there to John Constantine, Spider Jerusalem, all that kind of stuff. Yes, Gary, that is a very good joke. It is called Staten Island, and they will crush you, especially with their thighs. Okay, the next big series that came out, and this was a couple years prior to Planetary, but they sort of ran contemporaneously to one another, and they both had, let's say, shipping delays throughout their run. I'm talking about Alan Moore and Kevin O'Neill's spectacular League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Again, I've mentioned this before, just to get the elephant out of the room. Yes, I understand, and I don't fully get it, why rape in some form is always a plot element in Alan Moore stories, and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is no different. But it doesn't change the fact that this is probably one of Alan Moore's greatest pieces of work. I've recently reread the entire series in one sitting, and it is spectacular. Yes, it benefits you if you have even a passing understanding of a lot of the characters and stories that he is referencing. But even if you don't, it's still a wild adventure story with some pretty dark, heavy moments. And it deals with, you know, it's pretty much Alan Moore again, talking about genre, talking about narrative, talking about the power of story, and specifically talking a lot about magic, artists, just the creative spirit throughout the 19th, 20th, and 21st century. This issue actually is the one that carries the most value. Outside of the one I'll tell you in a second, I don't have it, but I'm going to tell you a little anecdote about it. This is League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, issue number 1, very fine near mint copy at $20. All right, and then we have issue 2. We do have the complete series for anyone who's interested. Issue number 2, very fine plus copy at $5. Issue number 3, another very fine plus copy, $5. Issue number 4, very fine plus copy, $5. Now here's the one. Okay, so then issue number 5. This is the non-recalled one. Okay, so this is a very fine plus copy at $4. All right, for anyone who's not aware, I'll get to it in a second. Let me just first show this. Okay, and then this is issue number 6, the final issue of the miniseries, very fine plus copy, $4. All right, so the story is in issue number 5, in all of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen issues, there would always be a page, maybe the back cover, somewhere in the book, where it would all be sort of like old parody ads. Like if comic books existed in the Victorian era, what kind of weird ads, like what would, in 1890, what would the X-ray spec ad look like? Stuff of that nature. Well, in issue number 5, there was an ad for a feminine hygiene product where they used the name Marvel a lot in it. And I'm pretty sure Alan Moore and Kevin O'Neill were comparing Marvel Comics to a feminine hygiene product. Obviously, we are talking about a douche. And I'm pretty sure they were implying that Marvel Comics is full of a bunch of douches. So, of course, it caused a little bit of a stir in the industry. Some people got really upset, and the book had to be recalled. And they replaced it with a new ad. That ad wasn't as funny or as inflammatory, but if you can get the original League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Volume 1, Number 5, with the Marvel douche ad in it, that's like a $300-400 book. Yeah, because it's very controversial. It was supposed to be destroyed, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, a lot of people didn't destroy it, and so the copies that are out there are sought after because people love controversy. And there we go.
Thank you to Jason. And also, as a quick aside, you were looking for the Mark Jeweler insert in, I think it was like an X-Men issue or something. We didn't have that one, but Mike does have a copy of an FF issue with that, unless he sold it.
No, I got it here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a heads up to Jason if you're looking for them.
Yeah, I actually look. So if you're looking for the Mark Jewelers insert, we got some. Okay, so there we go. Marvel douche. What do we got for time? Kyle, do we need to take a break now before I move on to some other stuff? It's 6:33.
He fell asleep after eating that peanut butter and jelly.
Oh, did he? All right, so
he's hanging out.
I guess we're not taking breaks.
He's chilling.
So if I end up like peeing on the floor, I hope none of you mind. I'll definitely turn my back. You know, just keep this a family-friendly show. Other than cursing, it's so funny. Whenever the audio's off on videos and you watch videos and I curse, it's censored in the subtitles. It's like, yeah, all right, cool. Okay, so speaking of some people who felt that Marvel Comics was full of a bunch of douchebags.
On that note, we can take a quick break.
Oh, we are going to take a quick break. All right, peace. about. Yo, brother, Slap, how you doing? How's everyone back? Let's just do a bunch of shitty shtick voices. God, why do I even bother? Oh, God, terrible.
Hello, governor. That's it. That's all I get.
Fun times. Fun times. All right, real quick, I just want to throw this out to the chat to help us move along. I got a few issues here we're going to talk about. I got some bundles here we'll get to in a second. But because I'm not going to have enough time, we're not going to have enough time to get through all of this tonight. I just want to ask what people are most interested in terms of runs. I got a bunch of runs. I got a Avengers, Fantastic Four, and Captain America. So chat, which of those three would you be the most interested in talking about, hearing about, seeing, what have you? Now, fair warning, we don't have any like drop your pants keys or anything of that nature. Mike already sold them. So this is the dregs of what Mike hid from me because I guess we're in competition and Mike doesn't like sharing with me. You know,
it's the doo-doo hour.
It's the doo-doo hour. So just let me know. We got Avengers, Fantastic Four, Captain America in terms of like some big chunks. All right.
He was bringing them to Jersey. And I was like, Mike, Brendan might want to see it. And then he like,
he gave you one of those?
And then I fell down, and he started yelling at me, and a little spit came out of his mouth and got on my nose. It was embarrassing.
It was kind of weird, yeah. Did he kick you?
He always kind of kicks you.
Yeah.
Especially.
Yeah, right in the heart. Yeah, no, that's true. He always kicks me figuratively in my groin, meaning my ego. He calls me.
Not like Eric. He kicks you physically.
No. Eric's actually physically abusive.
He's just like, hey, get out.
Yeah. Do you think working here is like being in an abusive relationship? Like, we don't communicate very well. We never really admit what we're really feeling and thinking. We hold in a lot of resentments and then allow it to kind of explode out in public. There's a lot of name calling. Yeah, think on that one for a little bit.
It's kind of tricky.
Avengers. All right, so Gary's throwing Avengers. Okay, all right.
We got one vote.
All right, so that's one vote for Avengers. So we'll keep that going for a little bit, unless everyone just comes rushing in and goes, no, F.
Jason, what jewelers inserts are you looking for, or just anything across?
Is there a difference?
Is there? I think that because it was multiple books.
Okay, and so each.
I think there's only one insert, but if he's looking to get every book that had it, I don't really know.
And the insert wasn't like directly attached, or was the insert like loose? In fact, Jason, you can educate us. Tell us more about the Mark Jewelers inserts.
And we might have a line on an X-Men insert if you're interested.
All right. We're doing some wheeling and dealing in the chat, huh?
Yeah, but no poaching.
Oh, yeah. No poaching, though. Okay.
No,
all right. Because if you poach, I don't have a good joke.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have a few. I don't know. If we don't get to it today, you can hit me in the email.
Cool.
And we'll go through them. But yeah.
All right. Good stuff. All right. So let's move on because I was going to make a joke about a lot of people not liking Marvel in the 70s. And one guy decided that when his nephew, who benefited from nepotism, when his nephew got fired from Marvel, he decided that he was going to create a competitor to take on Marvel. But if you decide that the only reason you're creating a comic company is to specifically compete with a comic company that you already worked for, if you ask any of the artists that end up working for your new company what the great idea is, it probably isn't let's create crappier versions of already famous Marvel characters. And if you don't know what publisher I'm talking about, it is a publisher I didn't know that much about until we started this show and guys like Seth and Zanin and Oram came through. I'm talking about 1974, 1975s quickly went into bankruptcy. Every issue barely got maybe 1 up to 3. I'm talking about Atlas Comics. And we have a couple issues here to celebrate that that brief moment in time, because let's be honest, the artists, I don't know too much about, like, I mean, some of the writers were really good and stuff like that, but some of the artists that worked on some of these titles were brilliant. You know, we're talking Steve Ditko, Howard Chaykin, Rick Buckler, Neil Adams, early Pat Broderick art. So just all around some.
Mike Sikowski.
Yeah, Mike Sikowski, the guy I had no idea who it was, and then was embarrassed when everyone was just like, dude, he like drew some of the like everything in the 60s. And I went, ooh. But the first one we're going to start with is one of the many titles that only got one issue. And I'm talking about a title that you might be confused by. When you first look at this, do you think this issue is Iron Jaw #1, or do you think it's Barbarians #1 featuring Iron Jaw and featuring, the character's name's not on it, but it's the first appearance of Abraxas, I don't know. It's another Conan ripoff.
Doesn't matter because it didn't make it past 3 issues.
It didn't make it past 1 issue. This is the only issue that exists for this title, a title that is obviously Conan was hot, and so somebody said, how do we make Conan cooler? And someone threw it out there and went, I know, give him an Iron Jaw. And they were like, oh, that's a great idea. What do you think his name should be? And everyone was like, Broman? No. He-Man? No.
Figure it out for yourself. We already came up with the idea.
So here we go. Atlas Comics, issue #1 of Barbarians featuring Iron Jaw and some other character. I can't remember his name, but he's in a backup feature. This is a fine minus copy at $7. Wordman's going for good stuff, man. That's a unique book. You're not going to see that reprinted anywhere. And going along with that, too bad Zane's not out there, and too bad Seth's not out there. Zane, I hope you're enjoying your first post-pandemic barbecue. So yeah, he told me the sad news on Friday. He's like, most likely I won't be able to make it to the show. And then I said, then why are we even doing a show? But
you said what we both always say, why are you watching this? Yeah. And spend time with somebody, your family. Just you don't have to apologize.
Yeah, please don't do something better. Yeah. I mean, good look. Hey, trust me, if I was doing this by myself without Al, I mean, I'd be like, wait, we have 2 people? See ya.
It'd be like Tuesday.
It'd be Tuesday. Oh my God, break my heart. Anyway, now this was a fun one. I imagine
we do appreciate everybody watching.
Yeah. We like to. We're back in the '90s. There was a little character by the name of Chandler Bing, who really coined the art of self-deprecating humor. And so Al and I are the Fat Shacks Chandler Bings. But I am the pill-addicted Chandler Bing. And
sell some books, man. I don't know where this is going.
All right, so for anyone who's not aware, Howard Chaykin was working for Atlas Comics at the time, and he created a new character by the name of the Scorpion, and that is the first appearance of the Scorpion, issue #1. Now, the Scorpion only made it, I think, 2 issues, and once Atlas went under, bankruptcy, Howard Chaykin went, yo, I really like that character. I want to do something with him. Where can I take him? And of course, if you're going to come for the king, you better kill the king instead of going into bankruptcy. So Marvel just went, hey, come here, bring your stupid character with you. But no. We already have a Scorpion. Actually, we have like a lot of Scorpions, but we don't need another one. So Howard Chaykin renamed him and reintroduced the character as Dominic Fortune. So this character is sort of the first appearance of Dominic Fortune. It's the same character, all that kind of stuff. The other thing that makes this book weirdly unique is at some point in this industry, I don't know how far it goes back, but at some point people began to decide that they need to be specific about certain covers. And they need a subgenre of covers. And this subgenre of covers is referred to as the bondage covers. And this is considered a bondage cover, usually because there's a young woman with her breast half hanging out of a shirt tied to something. In this case, it looks like a plane jet engine.
That's a sweet cover, though.
It is a pretty cool cover. But this is Howard Chaykin, Scorpion #1, fine minus copy at $8.
Okay. 3 issues of Scorpion.
Oh, okay. So there was 3 issues. Thank you. Now, issue #2 is really kind of cool. Now, we have 2 copies of it. One is a fine minus copy. There's issue #2, fine minus. That's an $8 copy. Dominic Fortune / the Scorpion fighting zombies, vampires, some weird characters from I Am Legend. I don't know. And then we also have a very good minus copy at $4. Okay. Now, the thing that makes this book kind of neat, you get an Ernie Colan cover, but Howard Chaykin, I don't know what was going on, but he was having difficulty making the deadline. Okay. So he needed to get some art assists. So he called in some friends to give him a hand. And those friends sound like a jam band, like the Traveling Wilburys, the Highwaymen of comic books, okay? So we're talking about, so Howard Chaykin did a lot of the breakdowns and a lot of the layouts, and then pages were finished by different artists. Those artists were Bernie Wrightson, Walt Simonson, and Michael Kaluta. Now, if you don't recognize those 3 names, I don't know what to tell you, but they're epic. I think Gary said he wants the cheaper one.
Cheaper one?
Yeah. Which makes sense. I mean,
yeah.
But again, man, great art. I mean, it's such a neat kind of collection of different artists, all trying to sort of do the Chaykin thing. But having actually flipped through and looked at that issue, you can absolutely tell who did some of the finish art. A lot of their styles were hard to. They're so distinct, even in this period. That it was hard to kind of define. Also, if you missed it, the Scorpion on issue #2 kind of looks like David Bowie's character in Labyrinth. He definitely looks like he's carrying quite a large codpiece.
His pants are really high too.
Yeah, like really high, like above his lower ribs.
His belt is here, and his pants are and he's got a second belt.
I was gonna say, doesn't he have a second belt?
But yeah, no, he's got nothing to be ashamed of.
Well, hey, don't forget, this is Howard Chaykin, okay? So, good times. Okay, staying in the realm sort of like pulpy, noir, crime kind of stuff. This book doesn't have a lot of value or what have you, but any chance I get to remind people that this series exists, considering the fact that DC has decided to let it just never be published again. Good luck trying to find the whole series. It ran for over 70 issues with a couple annuals and specials. It is definitely one of my personal favorite series, especially from one of my favorite eras of comic books, a la late 90s Vertigo. And I am talking about the stone cold classic that I imagine most of you have never seen or read. I'm talking about Sandman Mystery Theater. Wesley Dodds, who had a little run-in with a little white alabaster godlike cosmic archetype one time, and it caused him to have a lot of weird prophetic dreams and stuff, and so he can't sleep at night. And so instead of doing like what I did, which was just to wander the streets and look for, I don't know, trouble, he instead built himself a little Sandman dreamy gun, put on a little World War I gas mask, and go out in the street and fought crime. And when I say he fought crime in this series, it was pretty twisted. This whole series takes place.
It's very dark.
Oh, so dark.
It's not a children's book.
Oh, no. And it deals a lot with, okay, there's this. Do you want to get real, Pill?
It's very topical for the time as far as like race relations.
I was going to say, you could argue that this series, a lot of people nowadays would argue it shouldn't be taught in school.
Yeah.
Because if you point out any awkward period in American history that maybe certain cultures, certain races, certain genders, certain sexualities, let's say, weren't treated very well. Some people would like to just make that all just disappear and go away, and how dare you ever bring it up?
This book is an excellent example of that being done and not pandering to the audience. Like it's just really well written. Diane
Belmont is like, she is a let's say she doesn't have the normal comic book body, much more representational to beautiful plus size ladies.
She doesn't wear a swimsuit everywhere she goes.
No. She's smart. She has her own agency. She makes mistakes at the same time. In fact, she really was kind of ahead of her time.
And honestly, I don't think it's, what is it, twice now or 3 times they started reprinting these and never finished.
Yeah, it's the worst.
It's just, it's pretty bad.
But the fun thing about this is Matt Wagner and later Steven Seagal to help. They did this really cool thing where every story arc was 4 issues. They'd be like Act 1 through Act 4. And yes, the subplots of Wesley Dodds and Diane Belmont, which a lot of this series is also a beautiful love story that actually plays like kind of real, for lack of a better term. And again, it deals a lot with a lot of sexual identity, a lot of race relations. It does not, what's the term? Whitewash American history. And it definitely doesn't shy away from some of our darker, more uncomfortable historical moments. But at the same time, it's still hopeful. It's still optimistic. It's still, fight against that darkness kind of stuff.
It's a superhero book.
It is still a superhero book. But it's spectacular. And also, for a lot of people, it was, especially for me, it was the first introduction of an artist that I don't believe gets talked about enough, and that is Guy Davis. He's brilliant. If you've never read his Baker Street, what were some of the Nevermen was a good Dark Horse series that he worked on. He drew some of the best BPRD stories.
What was that book? The Question, not the Question. And he had the mask with the beak. What the hell was that called?
That was Baker Street. No.
Was that Baker Street was like the weird punk thing.
Oh, you're right. That was the weird punk thing.
It was like I want to say the Question or the Prophet or something like that.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. It was like the Marquee or the
Marquee. It was the Marquee.
The Marquee. Okay. Yeah, that was a really good one too. Yeah, man. Anyway, this is it's a very fine year mint. Nice copy. It's only $5. Again, there's no value to these issues, but try to find the whole series. It's out of print.
Right. Try to find a collection of the whole series.
Yeah, I know. DC, great job. Anyway, speaking of DC, we got 3 up here because sometimes I get accused of being too Marvel-centric. And when I say I get accused, I mean a voice inside my head when I go home at night and I'm taking a shower goes, Brendan, I think you were a little bit too Marvel-heavy. You should really give more breath to other people.
Stop touching that.
Yeah, well, that too.
It's clean.
So these are 3 issues of Silver Age Justice League of America. This one here is issue number 42. This is a very good plus copy at $20. This is the issue where the Justice League offer membership to Metamorpho, and he says no. All right, and then the next one is issue number 45. This is a very good copy where the Shaggy Man appears, a character that I was not familiar with until Grant Morrison's JLA, but more appropriately, look at that cover. I'm pretty sure Shaggy Man is treating the Flash and Batman like most people treated their toys when they were younger, and they wanted them to make out and make love to each other by just smashing them together. Yeah. This is a very good copy at $13.
But then the kids, the kids that were a little more savvy with it, they were like, no, it's like this.
They lay on top of it.
Those are kids you got to worry about.
Yeah, because those are kids who probably walked in on their parents at least once. Like the girl I knew. No, I don't go there.
Yeah, there's all kinds of jokes.
Yeah, there's a real minefield when talking about sexuality through the eyes of younger people. Anyway, this is Justice League of America, issue number 71. This is a fine copy at $15. I don't know if this cover is a cheat, but there's one thing that absolutely does happen in this issue, and that is our boy Martian Manhunter. He quits the team for a period of time, and this is the issue where he does it. All right. And then I don't want to talk too much about Jonathan Hickman. If you've never heard me talk about some of my favorite writers, Hickman is one of the top echelon of that. If you ever want to get into a boring conversation with me, ask me how I feel about Jonathan Hickman. But his X-Men run.
Black Monday Murder starting up again.
No way.
Yeah.
Where'd you hear that?
That's from a customer. Shout out to Mr. Freeze on Wednesday. He keeps up on all that stuff. He's like, yeah, it's supposed to be finishing up.
Oh, because that broke and it ends on such an epic cliffhanger.
Yeah, because they were having a whole conversation.
And I felt bad because so there were 2 volumes out, and people come in, they're looking for recommendations and stuff. And I've recommended Black Monday Murders a bunch, and they would buy the 2 volumes, and then they would come back and like, oh my god, I loved it. Where's the 3rd one? I'm like,
yeah. And anyway, it's supposedly starting up again.
That's great news. Great news.
Good Hickman.
So speaking of Hickman, quick little speculation book. This is from his X-Men run, Lionel Francis Yu. This is issue number 12. This is the first appearance of Apocalypse's wife. This is the first appearance of multiple characters that are connected to. Oh my God, what's the second? Not Krakoa, but not Arrakis. That's from Dune. Araco or something. It's the other island. The one, if anyone just recently read Planet Size X-Men, where they pretty much terraformed Mars and moved the island to Mars, a bunch of those main characters are introduced in this issue. And as those characters and as that subplot heats up more and more and becomes more integral to this run of X-Men, this issue is taking on more and more significance. It's a very fine near mint copy at $8. And then just a little quick one because this ended up in my hands because of reasons I don't want to get into. Some people sit on stuff too long. Anyway, Edge of Spider-Verse, number 1. Don't be confused. It's not number 2, the first appearance of Spider-Gwen. It's not number 5, the first appearance of the little Japanese girl who has a mecha Spider-Man. This is, though, the first appearance of Spider-Man Noir, who most of you might know from Into the Spider-Verse, voiced by none other than Nick Cage. And this is a very fine near mint copy at $10.
You know, just we're breaking a minute, okay. But I don't know who's watching the previous show and who's watching this show. But just as a shop, you should know it's proper shop etiquette not to leave books held on hold for months and months at a time because it does really affect us on the back end. I understand if you're speculating, but to put them aside and just have us sit on them, that's one of the reasons why a lot of smaller shops are struggling because there's a lot of product getting held. Not to throw anyone under the bus, and I said it before, but I feel like I should say it again just so, you know, yeah, it's all out in the open. It's better business practice. Yeah. You know, you put it on hold, you pick it up. That's all. It's why we sometimes say people they claim stuff, especially during these shows, especially if you're a little or what have you. We fully understand if you're like, I really don't want that, but it's better to know that earlier than months later. It's just So there's a small window for a lot of these books to anyway. Yeah, but let us not forget. We appreciate you, absolutely. And the only reason we're here is because of you guys. Probably the people that we're talking to are not watching at all. No, so, I'm pretty sure they would not be watching. It's just okay. Do we have a minute before we go to break, or are we going to break now? We have. We're going to go to break now. Okay, let's just go to break now. Okay, cool.
There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit comicshoplocator.com to find a store near you.
I got some Gen 13s.
Cool. Oh, it's okay.
Yep. All right, so we're Mr. Williams. Cool. We got that Sandman Mystery Theater. Thank you very much.
Do you still? It's $5. Wagner doesn't do the art. He just wrote it.
Yeah. Just so you know, so if you're looking for a Matt Wagner art issue as well, that's not this.
It's not.
It's just writing.
Guy Davis. So
yeah, Guy Davis. If you're not,
let us know.
If you're interested, try it out. Really, it's just every now and again I like to float out certain issues because they're just personal favorites of mine. I just, if anything else, whether it sells or not, I just want to make people aware that some of these titles exist. Some of these companies, let's just say, aren't always the best at keeping their back catalog in print. The amount of times that I've talked up certain titles to people and then they go, wow, that sounds so cool. Can I get it? And I'm like, no, it's not in print.
We for sure don't have all those issues. We used to have a good amount of them.
Yeah, they're all gone now. Yeah, and the problem is because, again, like, yeah, you'll find some. I mean, it ran for a while. I mean, it ran for over 70 issues. So trying to get the complete set is difficult. And a lot of times you end up like finding 2 issues from one story, 1 issue from another story. You know, and it just it's tough. And I just, man, print to order, or I don't know, print them where they're like cheaper. Like, just
why do you keep starting stuff?
Yeah, just keep them in print. I just don't get it. Anyway,
it is good. It's excellent. You're gonna enjoy it.
It really is. And if you like noir, crime, and especially if you are interested in Depression era, like leading up to World War II kind of like stuff, and again, like Matt Wagner and Siegel, they did not shy away from the very uncomfortable, like the tone of American society at that time. And let's say, if you weren't Anglo-Saxon white, if you weren't, you probably had a rougher time then.
Not like now.
Yeah, not like now.
It's all even.
Okay, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to talk about some of the bundles that we have here. And then, Gary, you were the one who said it. So we do have Avengers here that we're going to get to. I'm going to try my best because we have so many of it, not to get bogged down into too much bullshitting. So, yes.
Can you start with the Gen 13 because Mr. Williams had mentioned them. So if you still want them, just let us know.
So real quick, Simon Oliver and a gentleman by the name of Barberi. This was when Wildstorm, they sort of like restarted all the books and stuff like that. And also Wes Craig, who does the art for one of my favorite titles, Deadly Class. He has some early work in here. But this is a complete story. This is Gen 13 from 2008, issue number 14 through 20. And then this one is even more fun. Now, this is a 12-issue story, okay? So I didn't want to separate it because you really there was no good spot to stop. So I had to put it all in one big bundle. But this is the storyline that takes place right after this one, where they end up somehow in the future. And the future is a dystopian world. It's called World's End. And so pretty much it's the Gen 13 characters kind of dealing with the dystopian future in New York. They fight all these weird mech creatures and mutants, and they're just trying to survive and stuff. But the thing that I love about this, it's written by Scott Beatty, who I haven't read a lot of stuff from. But the real reason why I enjoyed this series immensely is I really, really like the artist, Mike Huddleston. Right now, he's working on a Jonathan Hickman book, Decorum, which is coming to an end soon. But this was a full 12-issue series from 2008. This is Gen 13, 21 through 32. So the complete Teenage Wasteland story is the title of it. It's got amazing art. It is fun as hell. A lot of superhero-y adventures in a dystopian future. Gen 13, Teenage Wasteland, The World's End. That is a $15 bundle. All right. And speaking of some 90s characters, we're going to talk about a series. I imagine most of you probably watched the show. It was a show that I loved growing up. I still love. And the comic book was actually spectacular. Plus, it introduced everybody to the artist Charlie Adler, who would become much more famous once he took over after Tony Moore for Walking Dead. And, you know, Charlie Adler drew, I think there was only 6 issues of the entire Walking Dead run that he didn't illustrate. But his big break, from my perspective, maybe he was doing work prior to that, but the one where I kind of grew to know him was Topps Comics X-Files. So this first bundle, now these are the, so issue 1 through 6, actually issue 1 through 10, they blew up. I mean, the moment this came out, especially issue 1, they became like $20, $30, $40, $50 books. They were really sought after. They were hard to find, all that kind of stuff. So Topps put out these 2 special editions. Special edition number 1, issue 1 through 3, complete story. Special edition number 2, issue 4 through 6, complete story. So right here we have special edition 1 and 2, which collects X-Files 1 through 6, and that's 2 complete narratives. This is a $5 bundle. And then we get issues 10 through 14. 10 through 14 consists of a 3-part storyline and then a 1-shot story. So and again, the great thing about these comics, you don't need to know anything except who Mulder and Scully are. They're just like episodes of the show, and they're really well done. I'm not super familiar with Steven Petrucca's stories, but these were really well done. So again, this is X-Files 10 through 14. This is an $8 bundle. Yes.
I need to stop you.
Yep.
Mr. Williams, we're not in any way throwing any kind of shade towards you for not coming in or anything like that. You were not who we were talking about. Did you infer that? He put I'm not picking up my stuff fast enough.
No, dude.
That's absolutely, you're not, in no way, shape, or form is that directed at you.
No. I
assure you.
You come in.
Yeah, you come in.
And pick stuff up. Like, even if it's not everything, it's still, it's the people who
it's the courtesy
hold
of
stuff and then they disappear for months on end. And then when they do come in, they
put it this way. There are some items that are still held from when we were doing the show all the way over there on the old computer before we had proper it's no way in shape.
I'll say this right now. That was inconsiderate of Al and I to throw shade at anybody. That was disrespectful.
That's not. Yeah, we're just
we're just dealing with our own frustration sometimes.
It's on this end of it. It's a little hard.
Yeah,
but that was,
and trust me,
that was inappropriate. And I apologize.
Anybody we might be throwing shade, they don't watch us. All right, so
it's really just us venting for no reason.
Yeah. So we apologize immensely if anyone thought we were talking about them, because we weren't. Because we're not that bold, or I hope we're not that big of a dick. It's just it's a weird time that all of these industries are living in and all that kind of stuff. And please, we talk about it all the time, whether things sell or not. Just your attention, giving us your time, you just being here and just listening to us and interacting with us. It is a huge, huge boon for us, and we greatly appreciate it. And hey, worst comes to worst, signal boost. Tell people about us,
Like or follow.
Yeah. I mean, Mr. Williams, didn't you bring Hunter in? We love Hunter, man.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
He'll go through your boxes. He'll take care of some of your product.
So again, real quick, we apologize if anyone inferred that we were speaking about them. We were more being general. We were generalizing about very specific things that do not exist in this moment.
You guys, we all talk about after the show.
That's true. Yes. Yeah. In the same way that most of you talk about me behind my back, literally with Al here in the computer. We do the same once we stop going live.
It's a lot of fun.
Actually, there have been plenty of times where Al and I turn to each other and we're like, we're not live, are we?
It happened today.
Yeah. Oh man, you should have heard what we said about Gary. You know, after that show that night. Anyway, let's move on. Again, let's just have some fun, guys. Not to get too heavy or serious. Again, sorry. But we're still talking about some X-Files. This is X-Files from 1996, issue 15 through 19. So we have 2 stories. Each one is a 2-issue story. So we get Home of the Brave and Nightlights. Yes, a ghost story about a young child who can't seem to get his nightlight to turn on. I wish that was true. It is not. Also, these covers were amazing. They were all like painted covers. Mirren Kim, gorgeous. Anyway, these complete stories are, this bundle is $8. $8. Oh, actually, wait. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh, it's 5 issues. So there are 2 stories that are 2 parts each, and then there's 1 issue that is a complete one-shot narrative. So you actually get 3 stories here.
All right. You don't need to know any of the. You just need to know that they're X-Files.
You just know who Mulder and Scully is,
and you're good.
It's like watching an episode of X-Files. Mulder and Scully show up and they deal with something, and they're really good. I genuinely, I mean that openly. If you like the show and you never read these old Topps comics, they just read like their lost episodes. So, and we were recently earlier talking about Bernie Wrightson. This is a very famous miniseries done in 1988, written by Jim Starlin and illustrated by Bernie Wrightson. This is Batman the Cult. This was a 4-issue prestige format series. Now, especially the first issue, these actually carry a lot of like some value, especially the first issue. But I know through doing the show, a lot of you kind of like, you enjoy a lot of Wrightson, so I wanted to make this available. It's only a $13 bundle. So yeah, so I mean, Batman the Cult, Jim Starlin, Bernie Wrightson.
We'll take that from Mr. Hunter.
All right, Mr. Hunter.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, buddy. And then speaking of, I was recently talking about John Arcudi. So every now and again, I like to promote Mr. Arcudi. Sometimes he doesn't get, I think, the cred he deserves. He's actually a very talented writer and storyteller. This was during when he was doing the Aquaman series. This is post San Diego, like I think floating to the bottom of the ocean. I think it broke off of California or something like that. This was also early Patrick Gleason art that they were doing at the time. This is from 2005. This is issue number 32 through 39. This is a $9 bundle. So there you go. Even a little early Freddie Williams III art. All right. Recently, before the Chip Zdarsky Daredevil run, the previous volume of the series was written by Charles Soule, who used to be an attorney before becoming a comic writer. So it seems like a good fit for writing Daredevil and Matt Murdock. Now, I thought that this character on the cover was, I was like, when did Gambit join Daredevil and become his apprentice? That is not the case, and that is not Daredevil. I believe that is a character by the name of Blind Spot. It's something like that. It was sort of like he was making his own sidekick or whatever. But anyway, this is Daredevil from 2016. This is issue 1 through 7. It's 2 full story arcs. You get the original story arc with Blind Spot there, and then you get some Elektra with some really nice Bill Sienkiewicz covers. This is a $13 bundle. And if you dig that bundle and you want to continue the series, you can get 2 more story arcs. This is issue 8 through 14. The first story arc is Blind Man's Bluff. I don't know exactly what that one was about, but this is the one where Daredevil deals with a serial killer. Look at him. He looks like such a serial killer. So again, this is issue 8 through 14. This is a $12 bundle.
Is that Powder?
Powder? Oh, is it Powder? Hey, did anyone ever see the movie Powder?
No, that's what we were talking about the other day. I've never seen it. I was trying to remember if it was Ryan Phillippe was the guy.
No, he wasn't. It was, God, it's somebody, but I can't think of it now. I saw that movie in the theater. And you want to talk about a bad 1-2 punch of 2 movies that I saw back to back with my buddy. We went to see Michael with John Travolta as an angel and Powder. And let me tell you, going through a period in your
the same afternoon?
like it was like it was the night before and then the next night. It was during that phase of my life where I would go to the theater almost every night.
You're like, I gotta throw this money somewhere.
I was addicted, man. It was like comic books. I would just buy and read everything, and movies were the same way. And then you reach a certain age and you go, life's too short. I should really like kind of cherish the time in my life.
I did see that movie, Michael. I think I rented it. So there you go. VHS rental.
Well, you should have known by then. At least I went on the opening weekend of Michael.
It was either that or Phenomenon. I rented one of those.
Rough. At least it wasn't as bad as the night that we went to see Destiny Turns on the Radio and realized it wasn't a Quentin Tarantino movie. He was just acting in it.
Oh, he's the star.
Yes. Ooh. And it was terrible.
He did a few movies too, didn't he?
A little bit. Like what's the movie where it's a scene at a party and he does the whole Top Gun a monologue. You can look it up on YouTube. Quentin Tarantino Top Gun. They play that scene.
He would show up and have like a scene in a movie
where he would do like a monologue.
Like he did a joke in
Four Rooms.
No. Yeah, he did a joke in Four Rooms.
Yeah.
Did a joke in Desperado.
Oh yeah. That's right. And he was a character in From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah. And
then that movie's actually pretty cool.
That movie's fun. I like
that's
fun.
I'm not gonna. No, I'm not ragging on the movie. By the way, I mean again, sound my head, man. That's good Lord.
Mr. Cabrera, we do not have any Stray Dogs blank variants. We don't have any copies of #1 at all.
At this point, we're completely cleaned out of Stray Dogs.
That's a good one to have.
Yeah. So right now, that is a book, especially those variants that are quite hot, and we've been cleaned out. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll check with Mike, see if anything's floating around in Jersey.
See what that Greg hole has. Yeah.
Let's crawl back into that Greg hole. Make sure you're vaccinated before you do it, though. All right. Next up. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Evan Dorkin. He started out as a sort of an independent artist. He would later, start writing some of the better Superman Adventures, the animated series, episodes. I'm pretty sure he still does a lot of TV work and stuff. He created, and they show up in this. So this is Dork, okay? And Dork was his. Who was publishing it at the time? Was this Strong Quarterly? No, Slave Labor Graphics, okay? And Dork allowed him to introduce Milk and Cheese, and I'm going to flake the Eddington?
Eltington?
Elting
Club?
The Eltington.
Eltingville.
The Eltingville.
I'm just going.
We're just completely. But it's like these four dorky dudes, and it's him sort of mocking.
Lord Hallerts, if you're in there.
No, he knows it.
It's Eltingville,
I think it's Eltingville
Club.
Club.
Eltingville Club.
Okay, there you go. And they even did one Adult Swim episode that was really cool. Well, those characters appear a bunch in this series. So each issue is multiple stories, a little comic strippy, sometimes comic narratives. Sometimes there's sort of kind of journalistic kind of stuff. He mocked himself a lot, going back to that whole self-deprecation art form. This is early mid-'90s, little Chandler Bingy. Anyway, this is Dork issue 2 through 8 from 1994. Again, it's an anthology series. Each issue is multiple self-contained stories, even though you sometimes do have characters that keep popping up from issue to issue. This is a $10 bundle. Okay. I can't fully explain this, all right? This is the Milk Wars story arc from Young Animal. It's when Vertigo stopped being Vertigo and became Young Animal. Gerard Way of Umbrella Academy and My Chemical Romance fame. He was doing Doom Patrol at the time. Plus, you had Shade the Changing Woman. You had, oh my God, what was the mother something? I'm flaking on it, but Cave Carson with the cybernetic eye. He came back. Mother Panic. Yeah, there you go. So this was a total of 5 one-shots. So usually it would be like, so in this it was Justice League and Doom Patrol, Justice League, Batman and Mother Panic, Wonder Woman, Shade the Changing Woman, I can't remember. Cave Carson was mixed with somebody. But anyway, it's sort of like taking like Americana. Think Blue Velvet mixed with Justice League, mixed with Mulholland Drive, mixed with LSD, mixed with cocaine, mixed with Robert Anton Wilson. It's just bug shit. It's crazy. It's wild. It's so much fun. It's absurd and surreal. It's definitely not everyone's cup of tea, but if you like weird comics, this stuff is a lot of fun. $10 bundle.
That's what next Saturday will be.
Yeah, right. A favorite artist of mine. We don't always have a lot of stuff of his. He's pretty prolific, but sometimes not in terms of like narratives always. I'm talking about Paul Pope. He is an artist unto himself. I don't know if anyone is akin to him, but this was the Vertigo cinematic movie that he did back in, I think this is 2000, 2001, somewhere around that time. But this is sort of like a alternate future. Definitely a lot of like some really good like romance mixed with just it's personal relationships in a sort of future dystopia kind of world. It's actually beautiful. It's gorgeous. If you've never been turned on to Paul Pope's art, he is one of the great unsung artists of this medium. Now, this is a 5-issue miniseries. Each issue is like double size, triple size. I mean, like the cover price of each of these issues was $6.
They're like square bound. Yeah.
A little current, but you'll get this bundle for only $10. Okay, now think about that.
Out of print.
Way out of print.
Out of print. No trade for that, my friends.
And it's not coming back in print. Because whenever they do, man, they're like $50.
Yeah, like Paul, all his stuff is like it gets like a deluxe.
Yeah, like heavy liquid.
You'll get like all the DC Paul Pope in a big hardcover, some nonsense like
that. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a guy who gets like huge advertising. Like I think at one point he did an entire Levi run for like 3 years, and all he would do is just draw like weird kind of characters, and the only caveat was they better be wearing Levi's.
I think that, what is it, Battling Boy?
Oh, Battling Boy.
That's like the most recent like work.
Yeah.
It's not like covers or random kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Does a lot of covers, which, makes sense. Really cool. I love his artwork just because it's a fascinating mix of Asian aesthetics and European aesthetics. Like he definitely like mixes the two together and he creates a style unique to him alone. It's brilliant.
And Freeze got drunk with Paul Pope at the old West Philly, the shop that closed.
Oh yeah,
Locust Moon.
Yeah,
like a drink and draw.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
He strikes me as a guy who would be really cool to fun to hang out with. He seems like he would be.
You got drunk and stoned with Ed Freeze.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Nice, man. Good stuff.
He wasn't like, excuse me, I'm trying to draw.
I'm trying to draw. All right, next up is a back during the Counter X when Warren Ellis took over all of the lower-selling X-Men titles, X-Force, Generation X, X-Factor, Cable. Warren Ellis was writing X-Force. This is the Shockwave 4-issue story. This is X-Force 106 to 109. All you need to know for this story is who these X-Force characters are. It's a pretty dark, kind of subversive story. Also, you get some Will Portacio art from 2000, $6 bundle. And I was talking about it earlier, and I'll bring it up again. This was the infamous bundle during the Tuesday show where I realized I was talking to myself. And so I decided to openly talk about my love of this title. By Terry Siegel, who would go on and help Matt Wagner do a lot of the Sandman Mystery Theater's books. This was also illustrated by Teddy Christensen. This is where they updated the House of Secrets. The House of Secrets in this Vertigo title is a dilapidated home outside of the Seattle area, or maybe the Portland area, definitely Pacific Northwest. It's definitely of its time. It's definitely grunge era, early 90s. Squatters or like homeless kids and stuff like that. They would end up in this house, kind of squatting, looking for a place to stay. And they would quickly find out that the house, especially in the basement, was haunted by a lot of supernatural judges. So, of course, the whole series became about repression, guilt, regret, trauma. It is a dark book. And if any of those words are like, that's not my cup of tea, then this probably is not. But if you like some dark stuff and you like really diving into some abnormal psychology and some really effed up ways that we as human beings hurt each other and hurt ourselves, this series was really brilliant. Again, not everyone's cup of tea, but one of my personal favorites. This is the very first story arc of that series. You don't need to know anything going in. And if you dig it, there's more where that came from. If not, you get a really good self-contained story. Again, House of Secrets, 1 through 5, $6. Now, this was a fun little thing. Okay, so back in 2007, Rick Remender, who was really starting to like take off as a writer, with his buddy Kieran Dwyer and his other buddy Tony Moore, started riffing on old kind of Tales from the Crypt stories and stuff like that. So they came up with this idea to create this book called Crawl Space. Now, here's the problem, though. Crawl Space was meant to be an anthology series where you'd have 3 to 4 issue story arcs, and it would be a different story arc, different genre, all that kind of stuff. Well, it only got to 1, and that was this one here, these 4 issues. But this is really effing funny. This is XXX Zombies. You guessed it. It deals with Van Nuys area and a porn set and everything that was going on while a zombie breakout was beginning to occur. It all takes place in 1977. It's very adult. There is a lot of nudity. There is a lot of violence. There is a lot of gore. And it's pretty damn funny. Again, out of print, you'll never see this again outside of these 4 issues themselves. Again, XXX Zombies, part of the aforementioned Crawl Space project that did not get off the ground. But you can have all 4 of these issues for $5.
It was Dark Horse. Remember that series? It was just called Grindhouse.
Yes,
but it was the same type. It was like 3 issues. Did that ever like come to any kind of? It was just like they did like 3 arcs and that was it.
I think
like
so.
It
Yeah,
just never made
it just
any kind of,
stopped coming out.
Fizzled.
Yeah, it was just one. Yeah, fizzled.
Those were good. Those were really good.
They were fun, but the problem is, it's like anthology style books seem to make it everywhere but America.
Yeah.
It's like we as Americans just don't like short stories for some reason, despite the fact that we argue that we don't have an attention span anymore. And how dare any movie be more than 3 hours?
But
or
you can't, like with a book like X-Men, you can read it and complain every week, which is what people like to do. Why is he doing this to my X-Men? You know, you always get so. I think people's need to complain beats out their need to have a good story that they enjoy. Like everybody just wants to complain.
I think you might be onto something there, Al.
We're gonna hit a break.
Oh, it's a break already?
It's just about.
Man, we're just cooking through, and we haven't even gotten to. Okay, no problem.
Mr. Kieran,
it's an absolute pleasure, guys. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
Cool.
To be continued. 3 little words that hold the secret to the next great story. 3 words that will thrill you, confound you, give life to new possibilities. Every variation of To Be Continued is a promise of adventure, a promise of excitement, a promise of unseen wonders and unexplored worlds. A promise that every issue you read makes you a part of a never-ending journey. And behind every page, there will be an unopened door waiting for you. This story to be continued at your local comic book shop today. Visit ComicShopLocator.com today.
It's the
Yo, what's up? How you doing, guys?
Jason, you absolutely got your XXX zombies. Don't worry. I'll announce it so everybody can hear.
Definitely. Because you're a weirdo.
Everybody in the chat, make sure you judge Jason for picking up a comic book.
Actually, it's really funny, man. I love that story arc. I really wish they got some more.
It's super grindy. And
really grindy.
It's probably out for two, but if you're into that, the Grindhouse it's a fun series.
Yeah, especially because they did like a sci-fi-esque one, and then they did like more of a horror one,
a slasher one,
and then a slasher one.
It was just weird stuff.
Yeah,
it's
it's
comic books.
Yeah, it's comic books.
I guess everything can't be in print all the time.
No, I guess not. Hey, we don't work for comic book companies. I have no clue what goes into the process, what kind of money or what have you. If somebody has some algorithm,
especially for like smaller publishers like DC, you don't want to eat up their profits too much.
Well, let's be honest. Vertigo's gone. It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, like
and yet, dude, why aren't the books in print? I mean, like,
because they're going to be part of the wave of DC TV shows when they try and get that off.
Like Shade the Changing Man by Peter Milligan and Chris Picciallo, the Sandman Mystery Theater. Oh, by the way, Enigma, the Peter Milligan, Duncan Fegredo, if LGBTQ, man, that is a groundbreaking book.
I mean, we can't get Sandman in.
Oh, I know.
So,
it's crazy, but it's wild because like two of my favorite Vertigo miniseries of all time, Enigma and Seekers into Mystery, when they came back into print, they weren't even DC. They were like another comic book company. Printed it. So I don't know if they bought I don't know how it works, licensing or something, but it's weird how other companies have to bring really good, interesting, challenging DC books into print.
I wonder if Vertigo was like creator owned for certain.
That has to be what it is. And so at some point the full rights probably reverted to the creators.
We're just like, no,
they're like,
DC's like, we'll pay you for this.
Yeah, you do it. You reprint it.
I mean, that's probably some like they keep the rights so they don't have to print it, and there's no competition for that book if they want to.
I guess so. Yeah. Hey, there's comic professionals that are connected to the experience and what have you. If you find us babbling about an industry we know little or nothing about, and you find it annoying, that's okay. Just call us jackasses and move on. But it doesn't change the fact that I find it very annoying that there are so many good stuff that is not in print.
And please like and subscribe.
Okay, so earlier, now again, we have a heart out. We've already babbled for a couple minutes, so we have like 20 minutes to just talk about some Avengers. Of course, I'm not going to get through it all. So I'm just going to keep it on the back pocket. Whatever we don't get through, I'm going to hold for other shows. Like I said, I got some Captain America. I got some Fantastic Four. And again, we didn't have the opportunity on our Sunday shows to show off this stuff. And so before they end up back in the back issues, Mike has had his turn. We will get our turn. So going forward, we're going to talk a little about this stuff. And the cool thing is a lot of this stuff is pretty affordable. So first up is a couple annuals. This is Avengers Annual number 6 by Jerry Conway, George Perez, and that is obviously a Jack Kirby cover. Now, this story is continued from Avengers 153. Do we have Avengers 153? I think so. No, we do not. So I'm fooling myself. Anyway, Avengers Annual number 6. They fight Nuclear. Then we have Avengers Annual number 8. This is a Roger Silfer. Does anyone know who Roger Silfer is as a writer? Silfer. I do not recognize that name. But again, you get a George Perez art and cover. And this story is primarily about the Avengers fighting the Squadron Supreme. And then we have Avengers Annual number 9. This is written by Bill Mantlo and illustrated and a cover by Don Newton. Now, this story was continued from Iron Man 114. I went to try to figure out if we had Iron Man 114. Considering I'm not going to pull it out right now, I guess you can figure out that we don't have it. So that's that.
Did you check the bins?
Oh, I checked the bins.
Oh.
And I checked the shelves.
Oh.
Yeah, the one thing I didn't do was ask Mike to check Jersey. But I figure no one's clamoring for King Size Annual Avengers #9, so you probably don't really care what issue it continues from. So next up, we are now into the Avengers itself proper. This is Avengers for 1969. This is issue number 64. This is a fine copy at $20. This is a Roy Thomas era. And the cool thing is, an artist of mine that I didn't appreciate enough when I was younger, but I have grown to love, art and cover by Gene Colan. Also, this is the issue where Hawkeye finally admits his identity to his teammates. And now we have, oh, this is an interesting one. Okay, so this is Avengers 101. It's called the 5 Dooms to Save Tomorrow. All right, this is from 1972. This is, so Roy Thomas does the script, okay? But this story was actually written by Harlan Ellison to be a Hawkman comic. But DC said, hey, Harlan, who the hell are you? We don't want your stupid Hawkman story. So it kind of just sat and just, you know, didn't go anywhere. And somehow Roy Thomas came upon it and figured out that it would make for a really interesting Avengers story. So he was able to purchase it and adapt it to fit his Avengers. So yeah. So also the art and cover is done by none other than Rich Buckler. All right, that is a very good plus copy at $10. All right, next up is, now we're getting into the era post-Kree Skrull War when Roy Thomas was dealing, this is right before Steve Englehart would kind of take over, but they're starting to like get into more of the Vision and his origin and his connection to Simon Williams and the Grim Reaper and all that kind of stuff. Also, Roy Thomas is aided by Chris Claremont for this issue. And it is also, again, art and cover by Rich Buckler. But this is Vision and the Grim Reaper versus the Sentinels. So, surprise, Chris Claremont was helping to write. And then we get issue 103, where the battle with the Sentinels continues. This is Thomas and Buckler again. Now, this is a very good plus copy at $10. And then issue 104. This is the way the world ends, with a beautiful woman doing crazy things with her hands. Now, the one thing that makes this slightly key is this is the last Roy Thomas scripted Avengers issue. This is a very good plus at $10. We then get issue 106, a very good plus copy at $10. Now, this is when Steve Englehart begins his run on the series. Englehart's run is probably one of my all-time favorite runs on the Avengers. Now, admittedly, I would have to go back years later to rediscover this series. But still, Englehart was a writer that I grew to have a great appreciation for. The other cool thing about this, oh no, not this issue, it's the next one. But Rich Buckler does the art and cover for this as well. This is the one that I was thinking. Okay, so this is 107. All right, so this is Englehart again, and Rich Buckler does do the cover, but the interiors is done by Jim Starlin. And this is the issue where the Grim Reaper joins up with the Space Phantom to do something. Now, this is a very good copy at $8. All right, and then we get to the continuation of the Grim Reaper and Space Phantom Check and Mate. This is issue 108. This is a $10 copy. It's very good. Again, this is Steve Englehart. That's a Rich Buckler cover, but the interiors is done by Don Heck. I don't know if Don Heck is still alive. If I've ever said anything disparaging about Don Heck's art, I apologize, but it's really not my cup of tea. Anyway, this is Avengers 109, a very good copy at $8. This is Englehart and Heck again with a John Buscema cover. This is the issue where Hawkeye quits the team. Now, this is funny, okay? So, Steve Englehart has said in many interviews that the least interesting and worst Avengers character was Hawkeye. So Englehart couldn't wait to get rid of the character. He just needed a reason why. So, Al, can you guess why did Hawkeye quit the team? And let me tell you, it's very immature, and it would have been great for a teen soap opera.
I'm gonna guess a love interest was involved.
Yes.
A crush in some way.
Yes. Hawkeye was annoyed by Scarlet Witch not being cool with his advances and couldn't understand why she wanted to bang an android. And so, in a hissy fit, he breaks his bow and quits the team.
Was he like, lesbian?
Yeah. Oh, you don't like me? So Steve Englehart got his wish, and he got Hawkeye off the team.
You know why he was his least favorite?
That I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if it had something to do with him being an archer, if he felt the character was too much like Steve Rock. I don't know. If anyone knows, too bad Zane's not in the chat because I'm pretty sure he would know. Yeah. Okay. Next up is Avengers 114. This is a fine copy at $9. Again, this is Englehart. The art is by Bob Brown. The cover is John Romita Sr. Now, this is referred to as the first cover appearance of Mantis, and this is the issue where Mantis and Swordsman join the team. Now, here's another little funny thing that you would only know this if you pay attention to Steve Englehart interviews. All right. Steve Englehart initially intended Mantis to be a sex worker, yes, a prostitute, who hit on every male member of the team and caused all of this relationship drama and all this kind of stuff. I don't know if an editor or his own wife or girlfriend at the time or somebody got into his ear and they were like, I don't know if making one of the very few Vietnamese female characters a sex worker and she is messing up the team was probably the right move. So they sort of threw away that subtext and just led the character to be one day the Celestial Madonna.
I would like to say that it was like the comics code or somebody stepped in and said, no, this is problematic. But that's probably not the case.
It's probably not the case. All right. Now we're jumping into 1974. And we're doing a team that as a child, I was fascinated by the astrology, all of astrology and stuff. I thought it was so neat. So the villains, the Zodiac, I always thought were cool. I don't know if they're really cool, but I just dug it. I thought it was neat. But this is Avengers 120. This is a very fine minus copy at $15. Again, this is Steve Englehart. This is Bob Brown. And this cover is Jim Starlin. And again, this is part of Englehart's, they're fighting the Zodiac. And at the time, I'm pretty sure the Zodiac had only really popped up a bunch in like Nick Fury's S.H.I.E.L.D. issues. Because I think one of them ended up being Nick's like long-lost brother or whatever. This is a continuation of that story. This is issue 121. This is a very good copy, primarily because there is a name written on the first page, and it's not Bernie Wrightson. So it is a very good at $6. Now, John Buscema is doing a little guest spot in the interior art, and Ron Wilson does the cover.
To Mr. Melendez, we don't have another XXX Zombies bundle. I apologize.
Sorry.
I'll see if Mike has them in Jersey. We can throw one together.
But if we do find them, we'll do a little footnote, a little tab, We'll have to remember that Sam is looking for some smutty comics. Just playing. Come on, man. We are sex positive here. That's for sure. I mean, don't repress, people. Don't repress. Be honest with yourself and your partner.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Avengers 122. Now, this is a good plus copy. Okay, because the value stamp, for anyone who's not aware, during the mid-'70s, Marvel got... Do you even recall what the value stamps inevitably led you to get? Or was it just something to collect?
I think it was just something to collect. Maybe you got a no prize.
Maybe a note. Okay.
Does anybody know what the stamps were?
Yeah. Does anyone have any idea what the stamps were intended for? Was it just another thing to collect, or did you get them and then, or was it like a scrapbook thing?
I imagine whatever you got has got to be worth a good amount of something.
If there was anything, if
anything,
anyone has no prize envelopes that were empty
you got nothing.
From the 60s or 70s, that's
pretty sweet.
That's pretty cool, man. Anyway, this is issue number 122. Now, it's a good plus copy at $4. Again, Englehart, Brown, but this is one of Gil Kane's covers. And anyone who pays attention to Marvel 70s comics, Gil Kane does a lot of great covers. Now, this is the end of the Zodiac storyline, but the big reveal in this story is you will find out that Libra, who is the leader of the Zodiac team, is in fact Mantis's father. Yes, I am your father. And that leads to this cover right here. This is Avengers 123. This is a $10 book, graded at a fine. This is, again, Englehart, Brown, and a cover by Ron Wilson. And this is the issue where you get the origin of Mantis and Libra. All right. And then we have a little Black Panther and Claw. All right, so this is 126, very good plus copy, $7. Englehart, Brown, another Ron Wilson cover. This is the issue where Captain America and Black Panther leave the team. That's right, they leave.
So, real quick.
Yeah, please.
So, you got nothing for the stamps.
Okay.
Like you didn't get collectible, but they sold stamp books where you could collect all the stamps in there and you got discounts at conventions, merchandise, nonsense like that. But does anybody have any of these books? I'd like to see one.
That's kind of cool.
Like Mr. Howard, do you have one of these stamp books? That's pretty.
Because I'll tell you one thing, in terms of collecting decades later, anybody who cut a value stamp out of that book, that destroys the value.
I mean, yeah.
Destroys it.
I've never seen the stamp book, but I've seen lots of books with holes in them.
Oh, yeah. In fact, I've definitely had my ass bit because I did not look at every page well enough, and I missed a couple value stamps being cut out.
It's funny because Eric missed one.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, he's not normal. He doesn't normally do that. He's pretty good at that.
It was a while ago, but I was like, yo, there's a stamp. He was like, oh, I forgot to check. He was like, do my dishes.
Well, Lord Howard Hertz probably remembers a little Magnus the Robot Fighter that I missed. I missed a coupon cut out. Oh my God, these freaking, who does that? Stupid coupons.
What? This guy's trying to buy books?
Yeah. Okay, so next up, we have Avengers 127 from 1974. This is a very good plus copy at $10. Again, this is Englehart, but this is the beginning of Sal Buscema being one of the main artists of Avengers. Now, you also get a really beautiful Gil Kane cover, and this is the story where Ultron crashes Quicksilver and Crystal's wedding. So it's the reintroduction of Ultron. This is Ultron number 7. And this story continues from Fantastic Four 150. That is the issue where Quicksilver and Crystal actually have their wedding. And if you're interested in this issue and you're like, hey, is this the Iron Man 114 again? No, it is not. I know for a fact we have Fantastic Four 150. So if you're interested and you also want to check out that FF 150, let us know and I'll grab it. If not, I'm going to move on to do some more. Oh, is it?
Well, the book got claimed.
Okay.
Mr. Kieran, if you want the FF, let us know.
Yeah, let us know if you want to check out the FF. I'll go grab it. And until then, I'm going to move on with the Avengers. All right, so this is Avengers 128. This is a very good plus copy at $8. Now, the big thing with this one, okay, again, Englehart, Sal Buscema, Gil Kane, all that good stuff. But this is the issue that Agatha Harkness starts training Scarlet Witch. So this is the beginning of the Scarlet Witch becoming a true witch. We're getting into the hex magic and all that kind of fun stuff. So again, very good plus, $8. Now we get, okay, so the Avengers, for whatever reason, I think it has something to do with Mantis, they go to Vietnam. Now, don't forget, this is 1974, so the fall of Saigon had occurred, what, months prior? So the Vietnam government, when they realize the Avengers are in town, they decide that they want to create a team to help fight them. And so they create the Titanic 3, which consists of Radioactive Man, Titanium Man, and Crimson Dynamo. And they attack the Avengers. Oh, wait, I remember why they're in Vietnam. It is for the funeral of swordsmen who had died previously. I don't know the exact reason, but they were there for a funeral. But the Vietnam government was not happy to have a team that is predominantly known to be American in their country. So they sent these jamokes after them. Again, a very good plus copy at $7. Oh, is this the okay? Yes,
Jason. If you want that, I'm not sure if you want.
Yeah, let us know because this actually has a little bit of value because it's in better condition than. Okay, this is a fine plus copy at $22. This is FF 150. This is the actual wedding of Crystal and Quicksilver, and Ultron 7 crashes it, and then that leads into that Avengers issue. So yeah, let's we'll show them both just to give. So here we go. Cool. These two go hand in hand, but Jason, you might already have it, or maybe the price is a little off-putting, but either way,
he's taking them all.
Oh, okay, excellent. So we're gonna say goodbye. There's that FF 150. Cool. To be honest with you, I was really excited when I realized we actually had the issue that the other Avengers. It's just fun when you can kind of do that. Because this is in that era, even into the 80s, where a lot of Marvel books continued into other books, but they don't acknowledge that it's a tie-in or it's part 1 or 2 or whatever. It's just you're either paying attention or you're not. So anyway, that was a fun one, and it's also what made the Marvel comics so much fun because you never knew who was going to show up in whose book and all that kind of stuff. Okay, now this one, this is like a weird thing. I don't know why this happened. Maybe someone missed the deadline. It's Avengers 136, very good plus at $7. But if you recognize that cover, it's not Deja Vu. We've had this is a reprint. This is a reprint of Amazing Adventures Volume 2, number 12. We actually have the original of this. I'm pretty sure we showed it off on last week or the week before show. But this is just a reprint. Because again, Beast is about to join the team. All right, so here we go. This is issue 137 of Avengers. Sorry for the glare, people, but we're just moving along. Okay, so 137 is a very good copy at $6. This is still Englehart. That is a John Romita Sr. cover, and George Tuska does the art. This is the issue where Moondragon and Beast. All right, they don't technically join the team. They're on like a probation period or something. I guess it's that like when you join a job and you get that like 3-month probation period where they could fire you for any reason.
You're not getting your benefits.
You're not getting any benefits, no insurance, nothing. It's kind of like that. So just to be clear, because there is an issue later where they officially join the team. All right, so let's move on. So now we have 138, okay? So this is a very good plus copy at $7. That's still Englehart and Tuska, but that's a Gil Kane cover there. Now this is where Toad, yeah, that Toad from the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, he teams up with the Stranger to punish Scarlet Witch for not liking him.
It's a common theme.
Think about 2021. And I'm pretty sure Toad thought he was a nice guy, too.
I mean, she's just got people left and right coming at her.
I know, right, like, man? I'm pretty sure Toad probably called her a lesbian as a derogatory term in the same way that Clint did. God, man, we haven't come that far, have we? Like, it's just, God, man.
What are you talking about? Never mind. We only got a few minutes left.
Oh, we only have a few minutes? Oh, seriously? What do we have?
56.
Oh, so do we have our heart out?
Yeah.
Okay, then, all right, you know what? Let's, we're going to pause because we'll hold on to these books. We'll do them at another date. So I guess we'll just sort of like close out, wind it down.
Everybody tune in tomorrow on the Comic Book Shopping Network, 12 to 1 and 4 to 6 on their Facebook page for Mike and myself. And then Tuesday from 10 to 12 on Comic Book Shopping Network, Facebook page, all that business. And please like and subscribe. And the FJ, wait, no.
The FJC Paradox.
The FJC Paradox on Instagram.
Yep.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm not as used to the Instagram.
Cool. Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.
Also, so we're not doing it again. Next Sunday is July 4th. So we're not doing anything on Sunday.
Everybody act responsibly.
Yeah, please. So we're not doing the local or the experience. If we do come up with another show, maybe on another night to kind of replace it, we don't know if that's going to happen right now. If we do, we'll promote it on the Instagram page. We'll promote it on the Fat Jack's Facebook page. We'll also let people know who come into the shop. But just for now, just assume we're not doing anything next weekend. But if anything changes, we'll try to get the information out as quick as possible so people can join us. If nothing happens next week, hopefully we'll see you all in 2 weeks when we're back. Everything will be normal again. Sunday, we'll do the local, we'll do the experience, all that kind of stuff. We'll be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. No, we won't. But either way, everyone, as always, we really appreciate all of your time and your attention. Thank you for hanging out with us. You guys really make this an enjoyable experience. It doesn't feel like work when we're just kind of hanging out. Admittedly, the heat is oppressive, but, I imagine a lot of people are really worse off. Pacific Northwest, I hope you guys are doing all right.
Wait till we open that door.
Yeah, oh my God, when that door opens, we could just get smacked with the heat. But again, there's no climate change. How dare you say that? It's all a hoax. Anyway, we can never leave things without taking shots.
Thank you to everybody for tuning in.
So everyone, please be safe. Please share more love than hate. There's too much of it out there.
Enjoy your holidays if we don't see you.
If we don't see you, enjoy your holiday. Take care. Be well. Peace.